Something else I'm always looking out for, something else you're always looking out for, Pish, are the words of the people. I mean, we're just men of the people. That's all we really are.
I mean, yeah,
we're down home, we're down earth guys. So we're looking out in our social media roundup for any posts about the Magic in our beloved Magic community. And we have got some gems this month. The first one you found, Pish, on Instagram. You want to talk about it, sir?
Hey, everybody's talking about it. If you're any kind of Magic fan, Franz Wagner, rookie of the month. He put up big numbers in December. We talked about it on our last show. I put it on this sign over here. Cole talked about speaking him into existence as being the rookie of the year, calling him Roy. So that's why I'm trying to sign it into actually happening by putting Cole for most improved player. Let's keep it going. We got a sign that maybe predicting the future. But Franz, I mean, it's almost at a point where as Magic fans, we're almost sick of talking about him. The guy's amazing. He's sweet, Franz. He's gotten better since day one in the NBA, but he still deserves these props as the rest of the league and fans get to know him.
Yeah, that's true. We don't want to get too much of a good thing. We're used to talking and singing the praises of Franz, and I think I just want to keep doing it because I want him to know how fantastic a job he is doing, how unbelievably fun it's been to just watch his growth. And as this post from Magic Time 0.32, you said they're like a Brazilian outlet of Magic fans out there. Bom dia. He's averaging 19.5 points per game in December, 5.1 rebounds and 3.1 assists. He's filling up the stat sheet. He put this team on his back in December when it was like him and 6 other G Leaguers playing, him and Gary Harris and a bunch of G Leaguers. And they found some ways to get some wins, to impress some people, to dunk on some fools, and even, to get the praises of one Joel Embiid, who we just played last night, who's saying, he thinks Franz is going to be extremely good and just needs to keep going.
Well, I always love to hear from Joel Embiid. His opinion means so much to me. That would be advice you'd give to any rookie player getting in the league, right? Just keep going. I mean, that's not groundbreaking stuff, Joel. Thanks for coming, though.
Okay, touche. But I do hold a grain of salt for that because he's an established player. He's had some ups and downs too, and we just played him. And this is supposed to be one of the most dominant centers in the league. He did certainly dominate us, especially towards the end of the game. But Franz was going right at him. And maybe you'll talk a little bit about it and what I learned.
I did learn about it. Yeah.
Joel seemed to be a little bit fearful of defending those attacks to the rim from Franz. Our next post. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Pish. It is a happy new year, and Orlando Magic HQ and the gentleman at the Ozone podcast posted the huge forehead of Jeff Weltman pondering in that big old brain of his, what should be Weltman's New Year's resolution? So, Pish, what do you think in that big old brain Weltman should be thinking about?
My first instinct here is to just say, stay the course. I think a lot of in sports in general, no matter what sport it is nowadays, everyone's got a quick trigger. If a GM's not working, if a coach isn't working, they get 1 year, 2 years, they're gone. I say stay the course, man. And I say that because I'm also a Bucks fan, which we've talked a little bit about on this show, but I worked at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee for a while, and that's when I kind of got on the Buck bandwagon. They're another small market team that stayed the course. They stayed with a couple guys in Giannis and Middleton that maybe weren't household names. They weren't all-stars. They built from within, and they found a way to get there, and then they later added the parts. You have to slog through some of those seasons like we're having right now to get to that next level. And I think he should not be quick to get off the course that we're on right now because it's pretty good. If someone comes calling for somebody in a trade, which we'll probably talk about later, listen, but let's not blow the whole thing up just because of the lack of wins here. That's what rebuilding is. It's building. You don't always need to come in and take parts away. You got to build the foundation first. The rest comes later.
Wow. Nice. Taking some inspiration from the Bucks, who we just played a couple of times. They're a really fantastic team. And I would echo what you said, Pish. I definitely would. I can remember back to those Hennigan days where it feels like we pulled the trigger trying to make a big trade and the GM trying to prove themselves because they weren't sure about their footing in the organization. I don't think we have that issue with this front office. But the one thing that I do want them to add to their slow play as they move forward is just to remember the fans, the people that buy the tickets and the jerseys and all the memorabilia and watch the games, because I do think at times I've felt a little bit put off with the lack of communication from our front office around our organization. It's been a tough few years, few years. And I think the ownership and the management needs to be a little bit more empathetic to that and just communicate a little bit more about what's going on in the organization, not just around injuries, other things too. I do think they're doing a good job reaching out, trying to, survey and ask the fans. Keep doing that. I think that should be a resolution. You started that last year. Keep doing more of that, more fan engagement, more communication. And I would just greatly appreciate that in 2022. Welt God.
That's a good one. And I got to say, most companies' number one problem, communication. So it happens at all levels of life as you go through. But I would like to see a little bit more of that too. That would be good, because I think right now, we have a fan base that's kind of small and we need to grow it. And that's a great way to do that.
So one of the communications that I think as humans, we don't really know that much about, Pish, is communication with the dream world. And our next post is just that. It is from Magic Basketball is Back at KP20 Magic. He had a little communication in the dream world, and he tweeted out, "Had a dream we got a Markelle Futlz questionable." Now, Pish, as someone, a degenerate like myself, who bets every time our Magic play, I love betting player props. And I also bet all types of player props around the league every single day. I look at the injury report every single day. It's often a huge determinant in what players I back or what teams I back, depending on who's in and who's out. So I've been seeing our monstrous injury report every single day. I don't know. Maybe I'm a masochist. Maybe I like pain, that I just see the laundry list of Orlando Magic injured out. And that's what it's been for Markelle and a lot of other guys. And if I woke up, Pish, and I saw a questionable, the day that happens, Pish, I am going to cry. I'm going to get on my knees. I'm going to thank God and any other deity that will listen. I'm going to kiss my cat and kiss my girlfriend. And I might just dance around my house naked. I don't know what I'm going to do, Pish, when I see that questionable next to Markelle Futlz.
Wow. Well, I think you're sleeping on the whole bottom part of this, which kind of makes this thing come together, which is when Dylan Holden replies with, "No, you had a dream, and he is now in health and safety protocols."
I did leave that out.
To me, that's what really made this and got it super funny, because it keeps happening. But one thing I thought about while you were just saying that, one of the things I think that maybe is why you like this, it's not because you like the pain. I think there is something about, you see the team, they're not doing very well, but you see all those guys that are out and you think, all right, we're not at full capacity. If we were at full capacity and this was the state of the affairs, we'd probably feel a lot differently. So it's it's what they would call an excuse here in Boston. They always like to have an excuse for, if their teams lose, wow, this guy was out or that guy was out, or he's playing on a broken foot or whatever it is. Like, you have to have an excuse for why the things went wrong. And we have that built in one. We're missing starters. We're missing starter level players, potential all-stars that could be providing to this team. So I think that might be what's making you feel okay about this.
That's true, Pish. I saw someone else, and I'm sorry I'm not getting your handle, posted the most injury games missed. And we were like 200 games above the second place team. It was like 500 games over the past, person hours or whatever however they figure it out. But
see, and we love that because it means we lead the league in a category, which is fantastic.
But that's a dark joke. I was going even darker and thinking, is it's in the back of my mind. Is there a little fearful Magic fan that's kind of worried that when these guys come back and we're still losing, like, or what if we're still losing, Pish? What if these guys don't make the impact? Yeah, I'm not gonna. No, bad voice. No, we're not. We're not gonna take time for that.
Quit it.
Yeah, tell him to stop, man. He's controlling me with the dark energy there.
Bring the dark side right to the show today.
Yeah. And the last one, we're just gonna touch upon it really quickly, was one from us. We went to the Boston Celtics versus our Orlando Magic game. That was January 2nd there. Had a really good time, hammed it up, had some fun interactions with the people there, and interacted with some fans online during the game too. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks for everyone who watched along with us there.
Yeah, you'll get an opportunity to do it again later this month when we're in Orlando for the games with the Lakers and the Bulls. So I'm looking forward to all this, but it was a fun time. And we're going to talk all about this Celtics game and what I learned, sir.